In this chapter, we're going to have a little bit of fun, but I think we've had fun in all the chapters. Let's start new. File new. And pick yourself a workspace. My favorite is 960 by 560. I'm going to click OK. It fits so well. Let's play around with effects. Now, it wasn't too long ago, version 4 maybe, or 4, 5, somewhere around there, that we had two pull-down menu items up here. One would say effects. We still have that one. And we had another one right here that said filters. Now, the biggest difference between filters and effects is that filters were permanent, unless you were able to undo it, where effects were temporary, even if it was a week later. You'll notice there is no filter pull-down menu anymore. The reason for that is everything is non-destructive, and I really do like that. Let's start out by looking at how we control the effects, and that's really kind of important. So pick up, come over here and pick up an item. I'll do a star, and we'll go ahead and put a star on the screen. Let's go over here. Incidentally, I am in the Essentials workspace. I'm going to open that up by clicking that little expand button right here. I'm going to give it a color, something other than white, so we can see it. Come up to the word effect. Now you've got two areas. You have Illustrator effects, and most of these effects have been traditional Illustrator type of effects, and you have Photoshop effects. The cool thing about Photoshop effects is you think, well, okay, if I do a Gaussian blur, I can do a Gaussian blur? Yeah, but it's a vector. Doesn't matter. It still maintains its vector nature as you work on it, which is amazing when you think about it. So let's do that. Let's do a Gaussian blur. We have a preview button right here so we can see it, and we'll leave it at 9.1. Click OK. Now check that out. That's amazing when you look at that, because it looks like it's done in Photoshop, yet it still maintains the control that we know of with the vector image. I can come over here, pick it up, expand it, and I can contract it without any loss of quality. Try that in Photoshop. Now, the thing to remember when you're working with effects is controlling the effects for wherever you're going from that point forward. Like, are you going out to PowerPoint? You going out to a printer? You going out to a press? So if you go up to the word effect on the pull-down menu, and you don't have to have anything selected, because the operative word here is document, not object. And if I click Document Raster Effects Settings and open them up, you get number one, color mode. Now you've got RGB, grayscale, or bitmap. If we were working on a CMYK, you'd see CMYK up there too. Resolution. So what's your destination? That's an important thing to remember. Are you going out to PowerPoint? Are you going out to the World Wide Web? Are you doing something on a monitor? Then 72 is probably the one you want. Medium is for, medium range to low end kind of inkjet printers, lasers, stuff like that. And high, of course, 300 would be for high-end stuff in presses. Now, you've got an other if you want to add your own number, but these actually work pretty good. You've got white or transparent for the background. Now, typically, I don't want white behind that. I would like it to be transparent, and that is the default. You have an anti-aliasing option. Now, what that does is it makes things look smoother on a grid pixel-based type of monitor. However, if you do turn that on and you have a lot of things like text and that you're working with, it may soften it maybe a little bit too much. So you want to watch that. You can create a clipping mask. You can add an area around the object. Now notice, here's the original object. And notice how there's a little bit more coming out this way because of the blur. And that's what it's saying. Would you like me to add just a little bit around there so we get the whole thing when you go to print? And if you're using spot colors, you could say preserve my spot colors for me. So when you are working with the effects, understand that effects do have something else associated with them. And that's what do we do with this thing once we're done? Set that up front and then start working. On to the next.